Hi everybody. Sorry if I'm a little flush. I just had a workout and took a shower, and I had a literal shower thought about something that I should talk to you guys about. So I'm going to try to keep this kind of like meta level. I know it may come across as kind of preachy, but I hope that you will stick with me through this video because my goal is to be helpful. I want to take a stand right now and say that if you feel like you are being bullied, particularly by other women, about aspects of your appearance, what you wear, your age, any of that stuff, I've got your back. My husband and I, we've got your back. Like, I experience this stuff all day long. And not just a couple times a day. It is literally all day long. Especially since the pandemic hit, people have been stressed out and they are on edge. A lot of them are really freaked out and worried. And some folks just don't know how to cope with that very well, so their means of coping is to pick on other people. I've really noticed an uptick in this. Nobody has the right to tell me whether or not I should wear my glasses. Nobody has the right to tell me or you how to dress, how to do our makeup, or how to live our lives. Particularly strangers on the internet. You know, it's one of these weird paradoxes of the modern era where it seems like the bullies are running the show because all they have to do is get a bad reaction from somebody and then they can say that that person either deserved it or that that person who had the reaction, who was the target, who was the victim, was the bully because they had a bad reaction. The difference between a victim and a bully, real easy most cases. If somebody goes out of their way to target somebody in an unprovoked fashion, and that's important. It is an unprovoked thing. The person who provoked that reaction is the bully. And in a lot of cases, they're also trolls, which means that they were just doing it intentionally to get a rise out of somebody. In a lot of cases, folks who engage in that behavior, they're doing it because they know if they get you to lose your cool and they get you to feel bad, you might react and you might say something that they can then use as leverage later on to paint the picture that you're a bad person or to make you look like you somehow deserved it. So that way they can kind of use it as blackmail to get stuff out of you. Or to get stuff out of a whole group of people. I also think that we should all expect this to get worse in this year, 2020, precisely because people are so freaked out and stressed out, and it's an election year. Things always get more hostile during an election year. A lot of this toxic nonsense is socially corrosive on a large scale. And I believe, down to the core of my being, that personal accountability and taking responsibility for how we engage with each other needs to make a comeback. Hardcore. Because if that makes a comeback on a micro level, on a macro level, it means that people in higher offices and people in positions of authority will be held to higher levels of personal accountability. And the standard, the bar, will go back up, right? Or if it was never up and that was just an illusion that predates social media, however your perspective is, I don't think that that means that we should stop trying to raise that standard and raise that bar of conduct with each other and with ourselves. When somebody contacts me and says basically that I'm ugly and bad at my job, and that I shouldn't get offended and that somehow that is constructive criticism, they're clearly bullying me. That this is not helpful behavior. And that is a really vanilla example of what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about a whole lot more because I got a lot of examples. You know, I committed the cardinal sin for many years of being almost 300 pounds and being on YouTube. So trust me, I've got lots and lots and lots of examples, but I don't need to inflict all that on you. When I weighed almost 300 pounds, people wrote in all the time to call me fatty and fatso and to tell me, you know, how much they couldn't use my videos because I was too fat for them to really compare themselves to me. So that's kind of something. You know, obviously it didn't stop me from doing it, and it's not going to stop me from doing it now. But it is awfully weird and paradoxical that that basically stopped. People don't harass me for being too big anymore, but now people contact me to tell me that I'm not helpful to them anymore because I'm not fat enough. Seriously, I get that sometimes. And that is really frustrating because, you know, I should still be able to help them. If anything, I think my content has actually improved over time. I should be able to help them still, even if I don't look that way. And I don't owe it to those people to be unhealthy. Not all fat people are unhealthy. I was an unhealthy fat person. Like, I straight up was very unhealthy. My PCOS was running the show and I had to lose the weight. I don't owe it to anybody to look a certain way or to sacrifice my health for whatever reason that they might have. And I don't really think that those people should feel like they have the right to impose that on me as if I owe it to them. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just old-fashioned that way. I don't do that. I've always been of the mindset that I can't give away what I don't have. And I'm trying to help boost your confidence. Now, this is, a lot of people misperceive my intention and they misperceive what I'm doing here. And they tend to think that because I talk loudly and I seem so self-assured that I must be just very, very arrogant and full of myself and narcissistic. And those people don't know me very well. They really don't. Because I'm frankly modeling a lot of these things on my website because I'm a cheap model. I don't have to worry about myself defecting to a competing store for more money, and I don't have to worry about paying another person. It's not only less expensive, but it's less risky for me to just do it all myself. So if you want to know why I plaster a bunch of images all over my website and all over my social media of me, that's the reason why. It's incredibly practical, and it has almost nothing to do with my self-gratification because when I'm not on the clock, when I'm not doing it for work, I never take selfies, and I don't actually have any private social media accounts with my face on them. They don't exist. I pulled them all off the web because people were using them as a backdoor to harass me. If I sound exasperated, my apologies, but this gets really tired. It gets really, really old. I'm not going to change the way I look or how I live my life based on what anybody I meet online tells me I should do. I am not that insecure. But the thing that's really shocking is that most of the trolls that I get, they're not boys, they're not teenagers, they're not even my age. Demographically speaking, the vast majority of them are women, and they're about 10 to 20 years older than me. And I'm not going to judge women who are older than me and be prejudiced and assume that they're going to do this stuff to me, because I'm able to keep it in perspective that while the majority of the people who troll me are demographically consistent, they're really dwarfed by the number of people in that demographic who are like my champions, who support me and have wonderful, encouraging things to say, and they don't have to be cruel to be kind. They're just nice. And we have wonderful conversations, and that is honestly why I keep putting myself out here to try to make those connections with people, even when I get this kind of negativity and that hostile energy sometimes. You know, it's too important to reach out to the people who matter, that I can't get hung up on the people who don't. Like, there are too many of you that are just too nice. You're just too nice. You're like so incredibly sweet and uplifting, and it's just a wonderful experience to get to know you and to talk to you and to have these moments where, you know, we sort of transcend all this BS and the quagmire together and just try to have fun with makeup and hair. It's a really beautiful thing, I think. The reason why I felt compelled to make this video is not necessarily for personal reasons, because I've been getting this stuff all along. If anything, I'm actually getting less of it now than when I was big. But I have definitely noticed that it's been increasing a little bit more lately, and I have to assume it's because of COVID, because the timeline matches. And that makes me worry about those nice people. You guys, you watching this, it makes me worry about you and your heart and whether or not you are experiencing this too. So I would like to open a dialogue where, you know, you can know that you are safe talking here with me. We moderate all of the comments on the CysterWigs and CysterWigs 2 channels, specifically so people can't come in and harass you and troll you through our comments. I won't let them do that. You know, people do that to me, and I'm the one moderating a lot of the comments, so when they send me nasty stuff, I see it. So it's not really self-protective. I see the hate. It comes in, and again, I understand that that says more about them than it says about me. Because I didn't go to their YouTube channel and write them a bunch of hatefulness. Like, I didn't do that. They chose to do that. They made that choices. They made a bad one. But the thing that makes me scared is that if this is really happening more to me, that it might be happening more to you guys too. Because I know enough about my own lived experiences to know that when people get frustrated and they get scared, sometimes they get nasty. And, you know, people like to nitpick, women like to nitpick each other over little aspects of their appearance. I'm not going to do that here. Like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say, you know, you'll look ugly if you do that. Or, you know, women over this, whatever arbitrary age it is, shouldn't wear this, that, or the other. If you want to wear sparkles, wear sparkles. If you want to wear red lipstick, do it. And if you want to go full Robert Smith with a smear of lipstick on your face and that's your aesthetic, you do you. I will be there in your corner cheering you on. Whatever makes you feel good about yourself that doesn't hurt other people. If it is a real expression of you, your aesthetics, and how you want to present yourself to the universe, and that makes you feel like a fully actualized person, I am here for it all day long. Because it seems patently absurd to me that bald women harass me or you about our appearances, because women who are part of this community should know firsthand what that feels like. The same thing that holds them down holds all of us down together. I like it when people don't try to inflict their beauty standards on me and tell me that women of a certain age shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that, because I'm starting to get that too as I'm getting closer to 40. Like, I'm a Leo, the more sparkle, the better. Like, you know, my makeup preferences tend to veer on the think like a clown and work your way back kind of aesthetic. Like, I like bright colors. I like lots and lots of sparkle. I love bold makeup because I don't wear makeup most of the time. So natural looking makeup has very little appeal to me. I don't wear it if I want to look natural because I don't care if people see me without my makeup. Case in point. Like, I didn't even bother matching my glasses or my hat with my dress today. That's one of those sort of things where I have to show you. I have to show it to you by showing you not just the end results of what I'm doing, but the process, which I also believe, by the way, tells a more compelling story than just showing you the perfection and the artificiality of the result, which, you know, is how a lot of people like to operate in the modern era, because everything's very digital and artificially perfect. And, you know, I'm not Beyonce. I don't aim for perfection. She may be flawless when she wakes up like that, but I don't fit that mold at all. You know, when I had hair, like when I had bio hair, I would wake up every morning and it would be like up to here. Like, it would be just like this weird, like, architectural going on my head, like it was some kind of weird space fern. If you're not perfect around me, that's okay. That's okay. Philosophically, I don't aim for perfection, and I don't expect that from you either. Like, I'm not judging you. I'm not gonna think about that at all, because your mistakes show you're trying. The mistakes show you're human and they show that you cared enough to put in an effort. And if you're not perfect 100% of the time, you know, there are lots of people who make it like a second job to make you feel like you need to go through life walking on pins and needles for their approval. Not here. You've got it already. You don't need to work to get me to be in your corner or to want to be your friend. If you're nice to me and you're not judgmental and hateful towards me, that is the only price of admission you need to pay to hang out with me. Because chances are that even if I did all the things that they think that they want me to do, even if I did all the things that they complain about, you know, if I wore the kind of makeup they want me to wear, the kind of wigs they want me to wear, if I presented them the way they want me to, chances are they would still find something to complain about, because haters gonna hate. It's what they do. And some of those folks don't even realize that that's what they're doing. You know, but honestly, I don't know why they think that they have a right to be so hard to please and why they need to be so demanding of total strangers who are legit trying to help them, including a lot of you. It's just really unfortunate, I think. And one of the most unfortunate aspects of it is the rise of the Karen meme. Because frankly, I have a lot of customers who happen to be named Karen, and they're genuinely some of my favorite customers. They're not, like, the real Karens are not Karens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you're familiar with the meme, but essentially there is an internet trope about women of a certain age, white women, predominantly of a certain age. You know, I'm probably a Karen to people who are in their 20s, right? They probably are going to look at me and judge me as a Karen and say things like, shut up, Karen, okay, boomer, even though I'm not a baby boomer or someone named Karen and I don't behave in the ways that they're criticizing. But that's why prejudice sucks, because it's one of those things where if it's an easy thing to make an assumption based on somebody's appearance or the fact they're a certain age or a certain skin color, it's usually wrong. You know, I think it's very unfortunate that a handful of hyper negative people who happen to fit that demographic make everybody who fits that demographic bear that scarlet letter too. That is really unfair. It is really, really unfair. And it's very condescending because, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, most of the people that I interact with are older than me because, you know, people who are older than me are predominantly the folks wearing these products. Not all, but just when we're talking generalizations, the bulk of my customers tend to be older than me by about 15 to 20 years. And a lot of you already knew that. But, you know, most of the women that I encounter who fit that description, they're very supportive. They take it very seriously that they want to model how women should conduct themselves to other women. And they are respectable people who care about other women and other people online. And if you made it this way through the video, that probably describes you too, honestly, because most haters wouldn't get this far into the video. They'd probably be really, really upset and offended by something I would have said way early on, and they're probably writing me a hateful email about it right at this minute. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And because I don't acquiesce to their demands and their temper tantrums, they like to paint me like I'm a bully. But again, I would like to reiterate that if I'm standing up for myself, I view it as an extension of standing up for all of us. But again, I think it's really unfair that those people are the sort of people who make things harder for all of us. And it makes it really easy for people to be dismissive of women in general. And we don't deserve that. And I hope that all of this makes sense. Like, I think it is preposterous for women, particularly women in our community, to hold each other to such rigid beauty standards. Like, if you're over the age of 40, you don't have to wear natural looking makeup just because a bunch of beauty gurus tell you you need to. Like, take good care of your skin, see what you feel comfortable getting away with, and then just do that. You know, if you want to wear greens and purples and blues, do it. And that goes for wig colors too. If you want some, you know, the flurry from John Renault, some of their Arctic colors. You do you, girl. Like, do what makes you feel good. Don't worry about the haters. The haters will be there either way. You'll never be able to make them happy. If my experience is anything to teach you, you can't be skinny, fat, pretty, ugly, or any of that stuff enough. You will never be enough for the haters, ever. So don't live your life based on their standards, because haters gonna hate. And that phrase means something for a reason. Like, they have a deep-seated need to hate. It's how they make themselves feel better about themselves. And if you are encountering beauty bullying of any stripe, whether it's online or in person IRL, I'm here for you. Like, I got your back, and I will always defend your right of self-expression and living a life free of hateration, because that stuff is nonsense. And I wish that the people who do it would realize that you'll get a lot further in life and make people want to be around you. You will get the validation you seek by building them up instead of tearing them down. You know, it's just really shocking that people do this stuff. They're completely shameless. And sometimes I feel shame, and in this context, kind of needs to make a comeback. Sometimes I really feel that way. I feel like it was a powerful social tool and people abused it to hurt people who couldn't help the way that they look or any of that. They try to use it on me all the time, but the people who are shaming should be ashamed, right? Like, I mean, the ones who are being mean and nasty, and they're doing it on purpose, and they're just picking targets because it makes them feel good, it makes them feel better than somebody. Those people really need to get a better hobby. You know, there's a song by the Flaming Lips called Do You Realize? And it's devastating. I cry every time I hear it. Every time the chorus comes around, I literally weep like a child. Like, just like at the end of Forrest Gump, I cry when Forrest cries about Jenny. I do. Every time. I'm such a softie. True story. And there's a line in Do You Realize that is, do you realize that you have the most beautiful face? Do you realize we're floating in space? Do you realize that happiness makes you cry? And do you realize that everyone you know someday will die? And instead of saying all of your goodbyes, let them know you realize that life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning round. And it ends by saying, do you realize that you have the most beautiful face? Because you do. It is such a miracle that all of us got this opportunity to share this time and this spark of life together simultaneously. I mean, what are the odds? It would be such a pity to squander it on such petty, hateful nonsense. I love you guys. Love to you.